And it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the podium the Honourable Reverend Edwin Harrison to address us for 25 minutes. What is it that enables the oppression of the Palestinian people to continue? Let us ponder that question. And again, I don't have all the time, but later on we can talk about this. But surely there is something that enables the oppression, and there's something that disables the church from speaking out as clearly as it should. So what is it that enables and disables? Let's talk about it. There's a Canadian scholar, Jewish scholar, who said to me one day, he said, you know, Edwin, there are only 50 million Jews in the world. But there's 150 million Zionist Christian Zionists in the world. And he said Christian Zionism is a kind of cancer within the Christian body. And unless the church gets rid of this cancer, it will never heal. And since he said that to me some years ago, I was together with Farid Isaac at the time, and we were meeting with him. And since he said that to me, we've been reflecting quite a bit on this particular topic of Christian Zionism. Now, please understand that there's this kind of Christian Zionism that you can completely just dismiss. There's a kind of a crazy Christian Zionism that stands for certain things that no sane Christian could even contemplate. But there is a very sophisticated form of Christian Zionism that many Christians who are completely unaware, unconscious, I call it the unconscious, because I think it's a question of they do not even know that they do not know. It's that bad. It is sitting within the Christian body, and it mutates all the time, and it makes it as if this is normal Christianity. It is so far from the teachings of Jesus the Christ, but still it is regarded as normal within the Christian church across the world. And one of the key Old Testament scholars, ask any Christian theologian about someone called Walter Braverman. Walter Braverman is the father of Old Testament theology. But Walter Braverman wrote many books over many years without accepting, sorry about this, sorry. I'm so sorry about this. Walter Braverman had an epiphany, and he came to this epiphany because of the head of Kairos USA, Mark Braverman. Mark Braverman wrote a book called Fatal Embrace. And what Mark Braverman said in that book is that there's been an embrace which is toxic and which is fatal. This embrace is an embrace between the Christian world, Christendom, and Judaism. And it has become a fatal embrace. That's why the title of his book is Fatal Embrace. And what it has done is that it has gone into a deal with Christianity. And just very briefly what the deal looks like. The deal says, we, Jewish community, will not hold you Christians responsible for the Holocaust if you keep quiet and do not respond to our oppression of the Palestinian people. Do you understand that? That's the deal that was made. And Mark Braverman has exposed this deal, together with Mark Ellis, who's written the Jewish Theology of Liberation. They've exposed this deal, this ecumenical deal that has happened. And they have, over the last few years, they have gone around, particularly teaching in churches actually. Mark is Jewish, but he's been going around speaking in churches and teaching in churches about this deal that has been struck and the deal that most Christians don't even know about. We are unconscious about. So silence on the one hand, and then we will not hold you guilty on the other hand. For a long time I thought that this deal was based on guilt. And to come back to Kairos now, it is partly based on guilt, but it is mainly based on empire and on power. That's what this deal is based on. Bonhoeffer, Dr. Beyersner, the Kairos document, the reason for the emergence of these theologies was to stand up against the power of empire. The question raised in the 85 Kairos document was why can the churches not speak about it as they should? The question that the Palestine Kairos document raises is, why do you use theology to oppress us? How can it be that the biblical text is used to oppress the Palestinian people? How can it be? A biblical text that has the prophetic tradition deep in its roots. A biblical text that has Jesus standing up in public for truth, for justice, saying clearly that it's the truth that will set you free, and of course being crucified for that. But the wonderful thing about the Christian story is that the cross doesn't have the last word. Resurrection, hope has the last word. And so, if I may be brief and bold about it, it is this toxic, fatal embrace that has held the Palestinian people in oppression, under oppression. It is this fatal embrace that has, on the one hand, enabled, it's given the software, so that the Palestinian oppression of the Palestinian people may continue. Kairos, or Palestine Kairos, is the one document that has begun to reverse this. Now, I've been watching this situation for the last 5 years, 6 years, very closely, extremely closely. And I've seen how this document, because it's a virus, you know, and you need an antivirus. And the Palestine Kairos document is the antivirus. And I've seen how this antivirus has been read in churches across the world. In a small little town in Mississippi, in a small little church in Memphis, Tennessee, this document has been read in small groups. And the pressure has been building from below, and it's continuing to build from below. I've seen it myself. I'm in touch with people on a daily basis. And they explain to me, I got a phone call from Hawaii the other day. Hawaii. You think, what do people in Hawaii know about this? But the dean of the Cathedral of Hawaii is a friend of mine, Walter Braverman. He calls me up, he says, Edwin, we are going to pass a resolution in our church about the Palestine Kairos document. I want you to help me. So, he phones me a few days later to say, we have passed the resolution. The discussion has begun to happen. A few days ago, I spoke to the Methodist minister in Peniel near the Western Cape. He said to me, you know what I did? I did a slideshow on Palestine in my church one Sunday morning. And before we did the prayers, and what happened after the service is that people came to me and they said to me, we've always prayed for Israel. Now we will begin to pray for Palestine. Slowly, it is beginning to happen. And I think we must never dismiss these things. It's important that we know that these things are beginning to happen. You don't know about it. Unless I tell you, you will not know about it. But it's beginning to happen in 1,000 places across the world at the moment, in small ways. The word Palestine was never used in our churches. Always the word Israel was used, never the word Palestine. And now suddenly the word Palestine is being used in the churches. Of course, there's a fight back. Remember that the empire will never just watch this happening. The empire will always fight back. And there is a fight back. And some of us are in the front line of this fight back.